Hi, my loves, and welcome to Jennifer's Open Book, where we don't believe in filters. I have another special guest for you guys today, keeping with the theme with Meet the Blind Month. Before I get to my guest, if you have not subscribed to this channel, hit your subscribe button now, like this video, share this video, and leave some comments. If you guys comment while we're on live right now, I apologize. I'm still not able to read that. I'm gonna need somebody to help me out with that. Uh, but I'm still not able to get your comments. So save your comments until the end, like they say at school, at the school assemblies. But that being said, I really appreciate you guys' support, and I'm gonna get to my guest, Mr. Bob Cole. He is a full-time student and father. You guys always, most of the time, a lot of times see me interview a lot of single moms, and I'm one of them, but I never get to interview my father. So I want to see what it's like being visually impaired and raising children from a father's perspective. I'm curious like that. So, um, that was my intro. Hi, Bob. How you doing today?
I'm doing pretty good aside from being tired. How about you?
Um, I'm gonna say outstanding. That's how I'm
There
doing
you
today
go.
because we keep it positive here. It's been
Yeah,
a
yeah.
fantastic day.
I'm
We keep it
optimistically tired.
positive here. Yes, yes, that's it. And that's how I feel right now. I'm
There we
optimistically
go.
tired,
There we go. Yep.
but it's pretty much the middle of the day where we are. Still, it's not like nighttime yet, so we still got a lot more day
Ah.
to go.
Are
Well,
you
at
on the
least I
West
ain't got a lot more day to
Coast?
go. I am on the West Coast. I'm in Las Vegas.
Okay, I'm in California. So, same time zone.
Yeah. I mean, well, it's a little bit after 4, so we still
Yeah, same
got
here.
dinner and baths and
All the
dinner,
fun stuff.
baths, stories, a little bit of play. We still got time.
For
So,
sure.
can you agree that being a single parent, we are not allowed to be tired?
I can't agree with that because stuff happens in the middle of the night just as much as it happens in the middle of the day. So, you kind of have
Yeah,
to be on it 24/7.
right. So, first of all, like I said, it's Meet the Blind Month, and I want people to get to know us and what we do. I mean, we do that here anyway, but it's special in October. This is our month. So, you are visually impaired. Can you tell us a little bit about your visual impairment?
I sure can. So I was born with a condition known as microphthalmia, which means that my eyeballs never fully developed. So my left eye is kind of, from what it's been described to me as, is kind of sunken in, and there is absolutely no usable vision in that eye. Um, and my right eye, there's a little bit of like blue, but there's not like a full pupil, I guess. Um, and I have an acuity of like 20 over 1,000 in that eye, which isn't a lot. It's like I've begun to describe it as like living in a colorful fog. So like I have my phone sitting in front of me on a stand because I'm on my iPhone right now, and I can I can kind of see the contrast of where the phone is with the light and everything, but um, I cannot tell as far as being on camera. But I have practiced um, for quite a while. And so the way that the stand is positioned, I should be fairly centered on the video, but I wouldn't be able to tell. So very minimal vision, not a whole lot at all.
What was the what's the name of the condition again?
Microphthalmia. Microphthalmia. It's I could spell it out because it's kind of weird. It's Microphthalmia. Microphthalmia. I've never. It was a weird name when I first heard it. So just pretty much means that the eyeballs never
I was
fully
gonna
develop,
ask
so they're
you,
a
do
bit
you know what
smaller.
causes it?
I don't know the cause
Okay.
particularly. One friend of mine who was a Vietnam veteran told me that there could be a chance that my condition was a result of my dad being exposed to Agent Orange when he was over in Vietnam, but I don't know. Don't have a
Okay.
specific cause for it.
I mean, we get a lot of stories like that. Like nobody knows what caused my condition either. So
Right.
it's okay. It's all right. It's like this is
Yeah.
what you have. Deal with it.
It is
So
there.
you are a father and you have two boys. You're raising them on your own. How long have you been raising them on your own?
Long story, so I'll just give you the gist of that. Come March of next year, I will have been on my own with those two for 6 years, and
And
they
how
keep me
old are they?
quite busy. They are now 8 and 11 years old.
Oh, so you had them, they were babies when when
They
you
were 3 and
started. Was
5 when I
that an
started that
adventure?
journey. It
Yeah,
was, and
was that an adventure?
oh yeah, I have plenty of stories on that one too.
Yeah.
Yep, yeah, I could share a little bit about that if you want. Depends.
Please.
Okay, so when I actually was born and raised out in Ohio, and I lived there for a big portion of my life. And my boy's mom, their family live out out here in this area. Really good. They're really good relationship with her family. And basically, we moved out here for a few reasons. I thought it'd be good for her to be close to her family, and I also wanted to try to see if that would change the career outlook by moving from Ohio to California because I had heard that California was more open. So, anyways, when I became a single dad, um, I didn't want my boys to be cooped up, in inside of walls all the time, and so
Hmm.
kind of that kind of pushed me to a point at which it was like, okay, I need to do something because they deserve better than being inside of the apartment all the time. So I got onto Google Maps and I started looking for nearby parks and stuff like that. And I was like, okay, I'm going to do this. And my youngest was a runner at that point in time, so I had to really stay on his toes. And he never outran me though. I can still move pretty fast in spite of having like next to no vision. And and I've busted my
Hmm.
head on so many things nowadays that my skull is so thick it doesn't bother me too much anymore. Um, so anyway, I started taking them to parks, and we started going and visiting different parks around the city here. And I started taking them grocery shopping, learning all the bus routes that we needed because there's a fairly decent transportation system here. Um, and then I went out of my comfort zone even more in 2016. There's like there's this farm that's outside of the city, a big farm area, and they have like a corn maze and a pumpkin patch and a little petting zoo and stuff like that. And I wanted them to experience that. So I figured out the buses we
Hmm.
needed to take to get out of our city and go into the next one. And I took them over there by myself. And we went and we just explored around the corn maze all day. And I found that there was a pizza buffet across the street. So it's like, what kid doesn't like that? And so we figured that all out. That was like a whole day trip. And the furthest I've ever gone was traveling back to Ohio by plane with those two by myself. So we do everything together. Those two are my world.
Are they?
Right.
Can they see?
They actually can, which can be challenging sometimes because kids being kids, when they know their parent can't see, like you may experience this too, and like it's almost as though you could hear the thoughts in their head. Oh, I can get away with this. They won't see it, you know.
Right.
And it's like, oh yeah, I cleaned that stuff up, and then you find it like shoved under the couch somewhere. Like,
So my
you
daughter
know,
has already started that when I tell her to clean up something, she'll say I did, and I say okay, I'm going to check, and she was like, "Wait, mommy,
uh-huh.
no, don't go
Yeah,
check."
yeah,
She's
exactly,
5. She's like, "Wait, don't go."
exactly. Yeah. Oh no, it happens. It happens. Trust me. Yep, yep. I
So
totally
you
understand.
travel, you said that you travel with them, and it's two of them. I can't imagine because I travel with her. We travel all the time. We're always on a plane. We're leaving next week. So we're
Nice.
always on the plane. I'm sorry about the background noise. Her
Oh,
Nana
you're
just
part.
came in.
You'll probably be hearing it here at some point too, so I understand. Don't worry about that.
I will I will say this, it's easier traveling with her than it was with a guide dog, and then traveling with her, and I actually retired my last guide dog when
Uh,
she was probably about a year old. I retired her, and I was so sad because I had to retire her because it was really difficult managing the baby and the dog at the same time. Like
I'm
having a,
sure.
I lived in St. Louis at the time, and like in the wintertime, I had to pack her up and everything just to take the dog outside. And I'm like, this is just too much. But I can't imagine two of her in the airport, like trying to keep up. When I'm walking through the airport now, like I grab an arm, I have a guide when I'm in the airport, and I have her hand at the same time. It's
Hmm.
really busy in there. And I only have one extra hand. So if I have two of them,
Right.
it's like, oh my God, I'm gonna keep up with both these kids. So
Well, I
how did you do that with them?
I taught them. I was trying to figure out a way to deal with that. And my oldest, he's been pretty responsible. He was like 5 years old when their mom left, and he and I had gone out on some walks when his brother was taking naps and things, and when their mom was still living with us, and so he got to experience some of that. Um, with my youngest, honestly, there are some disagreements on it, but I'm just going to be very open about it. With my youngest, I don't know the formal name for it is, because I don't like to call it a leash because it's not a leash. It's like there was
I
this
know what you're
it's
talking about. I had one. It's
this
like a
yeah,
harness.
yeah, and it's there's like a stuffed monkey, and there's a harness, and you put the harness around, and basically I I started doing that with him because, like I said, he was a runner. And I've had people say, "Well, isn't that like treating him like a dog?" And I said, "No, that's like keeping him alive. It's keeping him alive because I'm telling you, I could probably drive better than some of the people in my city. Like, there's some crazy drivers out there. But
Right.
but when
So the
Adam, my
harness
youngest,
thing,
mhm,
just the
go ahead.
harness thing, I was so against that. Like I did not want it because I felt the same way. Like that's treating your kid like a dog and
Right.
everything. But once my child started moving around, and we were
Oh
seriously
yeah.
traveling. We were on the plane every other month. I bought one. Fortunately, my child is mellow for real, so
Hmm.
she always had my hand. But I bought her when it looked like little butterfly wings. It's not like you have a leash around the kid's neck or anything,
Right.
but it looked
Exactly.
like little butterfly wings with a little hook on the back that you put the in. Like you don't want to call it a leash, but that's
No.
you put
No.
this thing on it so that you can keep up with so that you can keep up with your child. And like you said, it's keeping them alive. It's too many crazy people out here who are snatching
There are.
children and stuff like that. And
Yes.
like I said,
Exactly.
fortunately I didn't have to use it, but I had it. She always had my hand, and
Hmm.
even now she's so good. When we were going through the airport, she doesn't like holding anybody else's hand.
I
But
can understand
there's
that.
not, you have to do what you have to do when you're
Exactly.
blind. And I think that was, like I said, I was the same way. Like I'm not putting that on my kid until I got a kid,
Yeah.
and then like
See, with
sign me
with my
up.
youngest, when the three of us started this journey together, he literally had just turned 3, and so I had been taking him on walks before while their mom was still living with us, and I was like thinking to myself, no, I got to do something because he would just bolt, and
Hmm.
like I said, people drive like crazy out here, and so but eventually he got to the point that he didn't want it on anymore, and I said, okay, we're gonna give this a trial run. And I said, but you have to stay by my side, and he did. And then there were times where we would be in busy areas, and so instead of the leash, what I did was, if my pants had pockets, I'd say, I want you to grab my back pocket and hold on to it, especially if I was carrying groceries and I couldn't hold his hand. I would have him grab my
Hmm.
back pocket, and so I could feel the tugging to know that he's there. And um, and that worked out quite well. And now I don't have to worry about it. And now there's times when we're walking. We had to walk up to the school last Friday to pick up some supplies because they're doing distance learning and things down here. And he wanted to hold my hand. And so we would just walk and hold hands. And we went out to their school, and his my oldest, he had asked if he could ride his bike alongside us. And I said, "Yeah, that's fine." I said, "But I don't want you going far ahead." Believe it or not, I actually ride bikes with them too. And
Do
I
you?
worked, yes, I worked out a system with them. And so we kind of go in a line. My oldest is up front, and then my youngest is in the middle because I don't trust him too much. And
I wouldn't either.
you know, and so I told him because he wanted to ride bikes too, and I said, okay. I said, here's the deal. I can't see these
He
objects
sounds like
coming.
he's
Like,
the rambunctious one, the youngest
oh
one.
man, he probably gets some of that from me because I did some crazy stuff when I was a kid. Like my brothers were like, "Hey, let's jump off of the roof onto the trampoline." Okay, so so I listened to my brothers and jumped off of the roof of our house onto a trampoline, and I'm still here to tell you about it. Um, but yeah, with Adam, I told him, I said, this is what I need you to do. And I said, I don't like to ask you to be my eyes for me, but if we're going to be out here, this is something that I'm going to have to ask you to do. And I said, all I need you to do is, since we're riding on the right hand side of the street, I need you to let me know if there's a parked car. So I told him, I said, just tell me to go left. And so whenever he did, I would just go out to the left, and then I could actually see the object once I got like real close to it. And we've ridden bikes
Hmm.
to and from their school. There was a trail that was by an apartment we used to live in. It was a paved pedestrian trail. We've gone and ridden bikes out there. Um, I just wish that I could see the faces of the drivers because I had my cane strapped to my backpack and it was very visible. And I wish I could see their faces. Like I'm sure some of them had those looks like, wait, that guy has a cane on his back. What's he doing riding a bike? Sometimes I
Right.
just
What is
wish I could see
is
people's
that a
faces.
cane?
Right,
I
exactly.
haven't ridden a bike since I was 14. When I was 14 years old, I used to ride bikes all the time, not being able to see. And I rode my bikes on my street. Everybody on my street knew that I was blind. And I got the big idea to blow a whistle while I rode my bike so that people can move out of my
That's a good
way or they know
idea.
that I'm coming. And
That's a
it
good
worked
idea.
out. But I was living in Florida for a while, and there were no, like, we used to ride on the sidewalks when I lived in Cleveland. Florida, there were no sidewalks, so we had to ride in the street, but it was a really like quiet area. There was rarely a car where we rode. Of course, I would have to collide with the one car that was coming down the street.
Yeah.
And that was the last time I was on a
Uh,
bike. I was like, car
oh
versus
man.
bike, no, I'm good.
I know. I remember when I was a kid, and there would be those jokes that the kids would say, tell them like, "You're such a bad bike rider. You get hit by a parked car," and I would listen to him like, "Well, yes, yes, I have," like. But you learn, and like I like roller skating with them too. I have my own set of
Now
roller
that
skates.
I will do. I will
That is
definitely roller
fun.
skate.
It's fun
Yes.
stuff. hmm Yeah.
I
So
love to skate, and my daughter wants to learn now. So I was thinking about it. I'm like, I think I'm gonna go buy me some skates. I haven't roller skated in a while, but I'm gonna buy some skates, and me and her are gonna learn how to skate
the
together.
only the only advice that
I'm
I
gonna
can
have to
give,
relearn it.
right? The only advice I can give, being 36 now, back compared to when I was like 10, the only advice I can give you is don't fall because it's a lot worse to fall now that you're in your 30s and stuff compared to.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know. So, when you skate, because I always imagine skating, like I would rather skate because I feel like I can use my cane if I'm skating
Mhm.
rather than riding a bike. Um, I lost my train of thought, so carry on with your
About
story.
you're talking you were talking you
No,
were talking about skating and.
what? I wasn't. I know I didn't want to talk about skating. Oh, I was talking about. I wanted to talk about them being so understanding, and you were saying that your 8-year-old doesn't mind holding your hand
hmm
now, and I was thinking about how like my daughter is kind of really just now grasping the concept that I'm blind. And she had a friend over today, and today was my first time hearing her actually tell somebody. She told her my mommy's eyes don't work. But she every once in a while she tries to show me things, but she's very helpful. Like she's more helpful since she's starting to understand. If I drop something, she picks it
Mm-hmm.
up. These I have these AirPods and I'm always losing the case because
Oh
these things are
yes,
so small.
yes.
So she goes and
Yeah.
finds them for me. Like she's really, really helpful. And I've always wanted I was when I was talking about adopting a child a long time ago, people were suggesting that I adopt a teenager or older child that will help me. And I explained to them that if I adopt a child, I would rather get a baby so that that child
Mm-hmm.
can be raised knowing that I'm blind because they are going to try things, but they're more likely to help than
Yes.
like if I bring a teenager in, they'll be like, oh, she can't see. And at first they'll be like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, and then they'll be like, hey, I get away.
You,
You know?
yeah, you have more of a chance to
But
develop a bond.
our kids are gonna try things
Yes, they are.
right. So I was blessed. I was blessed. My baby, I got my baby fresh out, and and she's being raised understanding that I am blind, and she, like I said, she's gonna try things. My nephews were the same way. They they're teenagers now, and they were raised knowing that I couldn't see, and I kept them alive, and they were very helpful, but they still were tricky because children are going to try you,
Oh yes, they will.
but helpful at the same time.
Yeah, yeah.
So
It's a give and take kind of
I
thing.
love it because your boys are able to do that. You're able to do those type of things with your boys, and I like to hear that about older kids. They're a little bit older than my daughter. So I like to talk to people with older children so I can have an idea of what to look
Hmm.
forward to.
That no, that
So
definitely
you are
makes
going to
sense.
school at the same time
I am.
you're going to school the same time you're
Hmm.
raising boys. What are you going to school for?
Well, I'm actually returning to school because back in 2011, which my youngest would have been about 2 years old, I was still going to school. I was going to school when he was born, and I in 2011 I earned an associate's degree in computer information systems, and I started back to school in January, and my immediate goal is to earn an associate's in psychology, but the ultimate goal is to earn a master's in psychology. The cool thing is that while I was down there at the junior college before, I took some classes because there were some subjects I was interested in. And so when I went back to get an educational plan set up for the psychology degree, the academic advisor looked at the records and he said, "Wow." I said, "What's that?" And he said, "You know how close you are to getting a business administration degree?" And I said, "No, how close?" And he said, "You only have to take like macroeconomics and microeconomics, and you can get an associate's in business administration." I said, "Why don't you just put that on there too?" So basically, by next summer, I should be
Oh no, I don't know what happened. Hold on.
oh no,
You
that's
guys
not
know
good.
this always happens. Oh, there you go. There you go. Bob. Okay. Well, I could hear you and now you're gone.
Can, can you hear me now?
I can hear you
Uh-oh.
now.
Okay, I had a phone call coming in, um, and
Okay.
I forgot to set it on
That's
Do Not Disturb. So just one second, I'm gonna make sure that's turned on. Okay. Okay, Do Not Disturb should be on now. Totally forgot about that. Um, okay, so anyways, what I was saying about the degrees was that by next summer, I should be the holder of two additional degrees. One will be an associate's in business administration because of the extra classes I took when I earned my previous degree, and then the other will be an associate's in psychology. And then I'll be transferring over to the university and ultimately working toward a master's, um, with an emphasis on counseling. And yeah, to keep it as brief as I can, life just hasn't been easy. And so I'm kind of at a point in life now at which my perception of it is that if I'm not using all of those hardships and things that I've gone through to be able to help people in theirs, then they were kind of no use. They were pointless. And I went through all of that stuff for nothing. And so I want to be in a field that is going to allow me to not just provide for my family, but to help people and help people so they don't have to,
Mm-hmm.
suffer so much inside, because, mental health is something that is totally, it's not taken seriously, and it's a very serious thing. So yeah,
It's
that's what I'm in college
very
for.
serious.
It is very
Very serious.
serious, especially in the current situation. It's even more. Um, it's something that should not be taken lightly whatsoever, with all the social distancing and people not being able to be around people like they were before. I mean, it's a and from a parental perspective, it's like, that's a difficult one, um, because the kids went from
Mm-hmm.
being in school and being around their friends every day to not. And so, my boys, they play some online games, and um, basically, I signed them up on Messenger Kids, and I really locked down the things as far as contacts, and only added contacts who are family and others who I trust. And now they're able to do like video calls on their devices and stuff, and have that communication. There's a girl who lives across the street who's their age, and she loves to come over. She really makes me want to have a daughter. I wish I could have a daughter if she was like her. But I mean, who knows? That's still a possibility down the road. And if it doesn't happen, I'm happy with the two boys I have. Um, but real sweet little girl, and she keeps my boys in line. I'll tell you what. That's that's
Girls,
us.
girls usually do. Girls
Yeah,
usually keep the
yeah.
boys
That's
together.
what I was going to say, is that because I'm sure a lot of men won't say it, and I'll just speak for myself on this, but in my opinion, us men need good women to keep us in line, because a lot of the time we aren't capable of doing that ourselves. So I'm just going to put that out there. It's like it's a balancing thing. It's a balancing thing. And
Mm-hmm.
so just
It
do the
is.
best I can. Yep, it sure
So
is.
I wanted to ask you about school, about how your boys are doing with distance learning and how you're handling that, because I have okay again, you guys know that I do a lot of my interviews because I have curiosity. I'm
Mhm.
very curious about things, and it's probably some things that I'm going through at the same time. So I have this kindergartner who is taking classes online at home, and she's sighted. Um, we're fine on the computer and everything, but I do feel like she's not getting the education that she would be getting if she was in school, especially since most of what they do is they do worksheets that I'm not able to
Right.
do with her. I'm not able to complete any of these worksheets. So I'm wondering, I'm asking how other parents are doing. So how are you handling distance learning with your boys and going to school at the same time?
With their
Do you guys have
distance
study
learning,
dates?
what's that? Sometimes we do. Like they'll ask me,
I said, do you
can
guys have study dates?
yeah, yeah. Sometimes they'll be like, "Can you help me with this?"
Mm-hmm.
And so I have to relearn math, you know, because they've changed it around quite a bit. Um, but
Mm-hmm.
um, I had some troubles with the school because I was trying to help them with some things online, and the platforms were not very accessible. Um, and I have a very close friend, um, Adam. This is live, okay? So yeah, I just had my youngest come in, and he's gone. He's like, as soon as he heard that, he's like, "Oh, I'm
It's
gone.
okay.
I'm out of here." Um, but basically, I'm I'm ashamed to say it, but many of the schools out there are not they are not at a place where they can work with us. And after all of these years, that should have changed, but it hasn't. I have a very she's one of my best friends, and her son is also blind as well as she, and the school seems like they're trying to help, but it's not the quality that is needed. You mentioned worksheets and things like that. My boys fortunately are old enough to read. I actually taught them to read when they were younger, before they started school. And my original plan was to homeschool them. And so I had gotten these alphabet flashcards. Um, and I don't know, I'm guessing you probably get Braille ones too, but I had some very, very large print ones. And so I would sit at the table with them when they were young, and I would go through the letter flashcards, and I would teach them the letter sounds. And the flashcard would have the letter on one side, and then it would have a picture that represented the letter on the other, like A, and then on the other side would be apple, and Z would be a zebra on the other side. And
Hmm.
I had number flashcards and things. And when I enrolled them for kindergarten, they wanted to put both of them a grade ahead. Like, they were telling me that, like, most of the kids coming in here can't even count to 10, and your boys are counting past 200. And they're like, "How is that?" And I said, "Because I work with them." you know. And I wanted
Right.
them to have quality, but it's like being blind. Um, you know, I don't like to look at it as a restriction, but rather, you know, we're in 2020 now. But from what I've seen in recent statistics, the blind community has like a 31.6% high school diploma completion rate for people who are blind. And the
Really?
unemployment rate, yeah, yeah, and the unemployment rate in the blind community is around like 70%.
Now I
And
do know about the unemployment.
yeah,
I
and
do know about the unemployment. You can have degrees and be blind and
oh, trust
still
me,
have a hard time finding a job.
I'll tell you something, and
But
I don't mean to be boastful about it, but when I graduated high school, I also had a certificate from a vocational school, and my GPA was 3.96. And I went into these job interviews, and I got treated like I knew nothing. And you know, I do my best to show my boys, like, I may not have a job, but I do work. you know, and
hmm.
I want them to grow up to be hardworking men. And so what I do is I just try to help people. Like, if people have assistive technology questions and things like that, I try to help them. Um, I'm a board member with my local chapter of the NFB, and I have the privilege of conducting a Zoom meeting on the second and fourth Monday of the month, and you know, I use that time to kind of teach people how to use assistive technologies. Like yesterday, we kind of looked over some of like the iOS 14 updates on the iPhone and stuff like that, and then the rest of that meeting is just open for questions and answers if people are wanting to know how to do things with their devices. Um, and so it's
And really
not,
fast, for those of you who don't know what the NFB is, the NFB is the National Federation of the Blind. We heart
yes.
our NFB. we, we love our NFB. I just wanted to let everybody know what that was if you didn't know. I don't know
Thanks.
how
I
you
should have
didn't know, but
elaborated on
there
that.
you go.
So, there's that part of it, and I just it is hard with the distance learning, both as a college student and as a parent, because the schools are not, even to this day, many schools are not equipped to help either blind students or blind parents. And the technologies that they provide to blind students are generally very much out of date. Um, and I've seen that at my local college
It
years
is,
ago.
and
hmm So pretty
um,
much it's. Oh, go
so
ahead. I'm sorry.
we're struggling with the apps. I'm sorry, we're struggling with the apps and also some of their sites that are not accessible. And in the beginning, I wanted to make it a blind thing, and I've talked to other blind parents. We actually have a blind parents meeting once a month, our chapter of the NFB, and we've been talking about like how difficult it is to navigate the apps and everything.
Hmm.
And I've also spoken to someone who's in blind services where I live, and the blind teachers are not even able to use these apps and the
Exactly.
websites and the blind students. So they're trying to figure out a way so that they can get for them to get their education. Now, what's
Hmm.
crazy is it's not only a blind thing. We're dealing with accessibility issues,
Yes.
but the sighted parents are really struggling with this distance learning too. And I'm sorry, you guys. I'm just like I said, I'm learning how to read my comments. So I just noticed that comments are popping up, but your names aren't. So I saw that somebody said hello. I think that's Aletha who just said hello to everybody. So hi, Aletha.
Got it. And if there's any questions too, I can always respond to those after the recording. I can go on to YouTube um, and respond out there. This is on YouTube as well, right?
It is on YouTube. So if you
Okay.
guys want to leave questions or anything afterwards, if you leave them in the comments, I will make sure that Bob gets your questions and I will get those answers back to you, or he can look in the comments and answer the questions himself.
Yeah, I
I'm going to
definitely
send you the
will.
link and everything. Yeah.
Speaking of which, I'll be responding under the account Blind Dad Life. That's the name of my YouTube channel out there. There's not a lot of content out there yet. I'm still trying to figure out a lot of this stuff and kind of getting past my inner critic that I deal with. There's a lot of stuff I want to do. I love writing. I have ideas for books that I would like to write and stuff like that, but I just need to get to it. Um, but I can definitely go out there and I'll respond as well. It'll just be Blind Dad Life. That'll be me. And just so you know.
Okay. Well, I have to get to my kid, but
Yeah.
I truly, truly appreciate you taking time out to converse with me. Like I said, it's really exciting to speak to a single father, especially a blind single father. So I do appreciate you coming on here. Hopefully you get some more content on that YouTube channel because I know a lot of people will be interested in seeing those things, like even seeing you ride your bike with the
Oh yeah,
boys and
yeah. My
stuff like that.
Facebook page is
So
full of a lot of videos of that over the years too. So tons and tons of
so
videos out
that was
there.
gonna be my next question. Can you tell people where they can find you on social
Uh-huh.
media, if they wanna check you out anywhere?
Sure. So on social media, I don't mind, accepting friend requests on my personal page. I do kind of look through profiles because, as all of us know, there are a lot of scammers out there. So, I look and
Hmm.
I kind of look through the profile, not necessarily like with a tooth and what do they call it, with a fine tooth comb or whatever, but just to make sure the person's real. But I'm under Bob Cole, Cole, on Facebook, but I'm on Instagram, YouTube, and well, Twitter too. But I'm not out there as much, but I am out there, and YouTube. So across the board there.
Poor Twitter.
Um, it's Blind Dad Life, BlindDadLife, and you can find me out there as well, on those account handles.
So again, thank you. And I just want to remind you guys where you can find me here on YouTube under Jennifer's Open Book, also on Instagram under Jennifer's Open Book, on Facebook under Jennifer Janelle, Jinnelle. Um, and like I said, poor Twitter. I'm still not tweeting yet, you guys. I don't
Yeah,
mess
I'm
with
out there,
Twitter.
but I don't use it
But
very
if
much.
you guys have a story, right. If you guys have a story that you want to share, if you want to come and talk to me about your life, you got some inspirational thoughts, some motivation, inbox me, let me know, and I will get you on here. Also, if you have any questions or anything that you would like for me to cover, any topic that you would like for me to cover, let me know, you guys. I welcome all feedback, everything. Just contact me. Here I am literally an open book. That's why that's my channel's name. I appreciate you guys joining us. And until next time, I love you. Bye. Thank you, Bob.
Thank you. It's definitely good talking with you.
You too.
Yeah, feel free to reach